Alright, so we're back into another video. You don't know this, but this is the second time that we're doing this. So if you want to check out the other one, it's actually going to be for our sponsors. It didn't end up being that way, but if you want a more in-depth walkthrough and as well as turn-by-turn, mulligan, etc. for this, which is the Mono Black Set 9 Bibbidi Buu, which is Josh's build. Hey Josh.
How's it going?
Hey. But before we start, subscribe if you're new. Join the Discord, become a sponsor. It's only $1 a month. And check out the in-depth video when you can. So we have Bibbidi Buu. What you got to say about this, Josh?
Well, this leader is pretty cool. It's unlike any other. It awakens in kind of a weird way, which is you want no cards in hand. When you do that, you reestablish a new hand. You draw 3 cards from deck, take 2 cards from life. Other than that, on the front side, it's like a regular leader where it draws on swing. But you can swing at any battle card, which is pretty cool, and you gain a 5k, so you always are dealing around that lethal damage, which is 15. On the backside, you get new hands every turn. At the end of turn, if you use your entire hand going to 0, it has ways to get rid of those cards from your hand, being powering himself up for the aggressive turn, or absorbing low-cost battle cards. So this leader is pretty nifty.
Yeah, I love it, and it's very unique. I think Set 9 has been a very, very good set when it comes to the leaders. Like, if we compare from Set 3 to Set 9, like, it's a vast difference, and Majin Buu is going to be no different to that treatment. But we got the lineup here from all of the Buus, and as well as the Babidi down here that starts the chain. What do we do here?
So here you see the Babidi at the bottom left. This card is the bread and butter of the deck for the most part. So this is your turn 2 card. You pay 1 energy to summon the SR 2-drop, which is insane. That card is pretty much the entire chain. If you have no cards in hand, which the Babidi, you have to discard a card to summon either a Pui Pui, a Dabura, or a Buu, which you're almost always going to go for the Buu. The other supporting cast, as you see to the bottom right, is Pui Pui. This card keeps your opponent from doing all the counter plays against you if you have a low hand. You could do this, but you usually just go for the Buu. The Buu does a whole chain, and everything about the chain is all of the different keywords of aggro. So there's dual attack, critical, and double strike, and those go with the different power levels that you see in front of us. And at the end of it, you can end on one of these 2 6-drop Buus. These 6-drop Buus are pretty cool. One of them is an answer to big battle cards on the left, and on the right, it makes it so your opponent can't draw any cards as long as it is not a leader effect. So that can win you the games right then and there. Like this 6-drop Buu on the right is insane. I love this card. But as any deck is, it is answerable. So take it as you will.
For sure. Okay, so let's move on to the extra cards from the, looks like that's the dash pack one at the top left, Power Burst, and as well as Demonic Absorption. Why these cards?
So Mimicry, the dash pack card on the top left, is basically a higher energy cost version of the Babidi that allows you to go up the chain starting with the 2-drop. It's also a 15k combo if you are already awoken, which is really good. But you want the chain to go off like every single turn. So this Mimicry card kind of adds extra consistency when you have all of the RNG of drawing a new hand every turn. So it's pretty good. Power Burst is basically the same thing. You discard, you negate an attack and you add the Babidi back to your hand so that you could do the entire chain for 1 energy on the following turn. So again, awesome. Demonic Absorption is just removal and a 0/5. You need 0/5s and you need removal. So this card is beautiful. On the bottom, tech options, you got more aggro in Turles. It's free, so you don't have to worry about energy. Gets rid of your cards in your hand. You got Bibbidi. This card's insane. New super combo. As long as all your energy is black, you get to combo ridiculous amounts. You got a regular negate. That is another target for Power Burst. You have Hatchiyak, and that helps you fill the drop to do the chain in a faster meaning. Dabura is your answer to most of the annoying decks, all of the big bodies. So that's pretty much all the tech options.
Okay, cool. And then we have some cards to consider from the Demonic Scream Majin Buu that if you have no cards, it's the only one in your hand, you get to place it underneath the Majin Buu and restand it. And the top 7, Majin Buu. Wow, Joel. At the top 7. And then we have the Secret and a couple other choices here, right?
Yeah, so a lot of these are really just side cards, or they are kind of funny options. It's not that you want to play these, will play these, but they are things to take into consideration as you see. Double Champa, you can easily main this card. I just decided to go the full chain instead of the Double Champa route, but Double Champa is crazy in this deck. I love that card, so keep that one in mind for sure. The ultimate gets rid of all the big battle cards that are hard for you to remove in this deck.
Okay, for sure. And I think the Deborah is actually a pretty cool tech if you do include that, because you can just pitch it or combo it off, and then with the 1-drop, you can go ahead and just take it out. And
yeah,
I think
the
actually...
Deborah, although it's kind of memey, I think it's actually a fairly good option for this deck as a side card, because it's kind of hard to side with this deck. So if you're going into a best of 3, there's not too many options with an RNG deck. So he's actually pretty good.
Right. And then you already went through the Capricious Onslaught, right?
Oh, no. So I forgot about that. So that's another removal. As long as they don't have barrier, you get to absorb one. And absorption is probably the best way of removal. So amazing card.
I think that one in the campaign rare here, the Majin Buu Human Extinction attack, which is a crazy name. We didn't say that in the last video, but that is an insane name. I'm surprised that they even put that in there. And
the only reason I didn't say it in the last video is I can't remember. There's so many words in it.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Plus the text is not the best there. It's like blended in. But yeah, that 15k and then the 10k of the other one, and then just warping one of their drop area, and then god damn it, Joel, where we had Brandon, we're keeping that in the video though. Where you can mill the top 4 into going into the Buu chainer if you can't see it, right? So
yeah. So it acts a lot like the Hatchiak. It just makes your deck run a lot smoother. The only issue is that it's a 115. So like if you get it early game, it is annoying. It's not bad, but it's annoying.
Right. Okay. So let's look at the list in itself and talk about some pros and cons. What do we got?
So this list I've tested like 7 to 10 different variants, and all of them are like pretty good at what they want to do. All of them are very consistent, very strong. I'm trying to get this deck to be like this build to be the game 1 version of a best of 3. So it's taking in mind all the things that I have realized make this deck kind of hate itself. But at the same time, I'm trying not to take away from what it wants to do too much. So it still has a lot of the aggressive pieces, but it has a lot of the answers to what pisses this deck off. So that's why Deborah is at 4. It seems excessive, but every time I played the deck, I was just going, I hope I draw into the Deborah at the end of my turn. I really hope. So that's my reasoning on that. Outside of that, like, it's pretty straightforward. You want to go aggressive. You want to do a bunch of things and get your dished. So you want to deal.
Your what?
You want to deal a lot of damage.
There you go.
I just said it in a weird way.
Okay.
So the cons, like I was saying, it's kind of RNG based when you're drawing your new hand. So that's why I have that Deborah at 4. It's a really linear deck. Like, everyone knows what you're going to do every single turn when you're going aggressive. So they can play around it really, really easily. But the thing is, if they know how to play around it, but you're doing it every single turn, as long as you have the defensive hand during their turn to stop them, you're going to do it again. So that means they can't necessarily answer it every single turn. But if they do, it kind of shuts the deck down. You just lose. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, the deck is super consistent. It hits really hard. And it is a force to be reckoned with, especially going first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think if you haven't played against Buu, or if you haven't seen what it does, if you haven't spectated or whatever, you should be ready for it. I think that's the biggest thing. Yes, it does have a lot of answers, especially going against red. A lot of removal, stopping the chain over and over again, right? But I think being a black leader, being very generic, being able to do the chain pretty consistently every single game, right? And just being able to go tall and aggressive multiple times every turn is really good too. So I think
if you don't know what this deck does and you're going to a regional and you sit in front of it, if you don't learn fast, you are gonna have a hard time. But if you know the matchup, like we were saying, it's pretty easy to counter it. So pucker up, boy.
Wow. That took you a second, huh? Okay, well, yeah, so the general gist, again, playing the Bobbity into the 2-drop and then starting the chain and going aggressive. Just got to watch out for the answers there and just understand what you're getting into, either playing it or playing against it. Any other last thoughts, Josh?
I don't really have anything else to say. Like, it does what it wants to do. So if you want a deck that's consistent, this is your deck. But be ready to be countered if people learn it. So
Sure. Okay.
That's it.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see this into the format, just like Gohan. Both this and Gohan are new aggro decks, I would say. And people just have trouble dealing with aggro, especially if it's new. Hopefully these gives you a little bit of insight. If you need more, definitely become a sponsor, because we literally talked for 30 minutes. Josh pretty much talked for 30 minutes. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, my bad.
No, not bad at all. I think those who want that information can go get it now. And if anything, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you have your own list and it's different, or if you have suggestions, definitely let us know. I'm sure me, Josh, or anybody in the Discord can reach out to you, or even the comments below. So subscribe if you're new, dislike, all the other jazz. And we'll see you in the next one. Say bye, Josh.
Later. Bye.